Okay, I think it's safe to say it's about damn time. I haven't done a Golvellius video in a long time, but I've got some progress to show, and really this is like the coolest thing I've done to Golvellius since like the boss video. So here we go. I needed a way to get content into the game where I wasn't just having to edit config files or hard code objects into the world. That's just it leads to a very rigid output, and I wanted to have something more lush and organic. So the game now has an edit mode, and as you can see, there's an object in front of me that I can place in the world. I can rotate this object. I can switch objects. Say like I want to place a house or this little cart, and I can run around with it, and then when I find a place for it, I can then drop it in the world and it becomes an object. So also this works with NPCs. So we can see, we can just go over here and drop them in the world, and as you can see, when they're an object I'm carrying around, it's just the base model, but when you drop it into the world, it becomes a live, living, breathing NPC. As we can see that Rio is in her default stance. So then I can also, if I go out of edit mode and I go in here, I can talk to her, and I can see that she's saying hi, and the default name is up there. Okay, so now if I go into edit mode and talk to her, now I can see the Lua script that's being executed whenever I talk to her. So let's change this a little bit. Let's say she says something like, Elysian Shadows is cool. And we save that, and now I go back out of edit mode and talk to her again, and there we go. So we can edit Lua in real time while I'm in the world. So this is huge. This allows me to really create my world inside the world. I don't have to script out things apart from being in the game. I can actually experience them in the game and then tweak them as I go. It's very cool stuff. So right now I'm going to export this to XML, and let's take a look at it. Okay, so here's a look at the Scene XML that gets generated by my editor. The Scene XML, I actually designed this format a while back within my engine. Basically, I didn't want to have to load in the environments hard-coded. I wanted to be able to load them in from a separate file. So like the terrain, the sky map, the fog, the objects, and the NPCs are all specified in this file, and then when the game runs, it dynamically loads them into the environment. So the editor actually uses the same XML format for its export, so I can actually take this same file and then re-import it into the game. But it actually doesn't replace the existing Scene XML. I can just take elements of this that I want and then copy and paste them into the actual Scene XML. So we can see the cart mesh and the Rio mesh that we created during our last session with the editor, and we can see that objects and NPCs are similar. They have a lot of the same properties like X, Y, and Z, the rotation, but NPCs have one key difference, and that is the script tag. So here we can specify chunks of Lua, and we can see this is the same Lua script we specified in the editor. I can now take this and just copy and paste it, or I can make my modifications as well. So even if we didn't do things exactly right in the editor, I can still change them before they actually get imported into the game. So this is very powerful. I can pretty much do whatever I want as far as building the game with the editor within the game. So it's a pretty cool concept. And actually this is just the tip of the iceberg. Using this I can even create things like quests in real time. So if you think back, a while back I made a video about Lua-based quests where I had Calasis, the hero, interact with two NPCs to earn his sword. I could actually now create that entire quest in real time without having to go to separate files and things like this. I can be within the world and then make that happen. So I want to make that, I want to kind of show off the power of the editor. So let's just think of a random quest. Like, okay, let's say there's this old woman that's wanting a copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and if you find one then she'll give you a Game Boy. That sounds random enough, but anyways, I want to show off the power of the editor, so let's give it a shot. Okay, so our NPCs are created and the Lua scripts are written. So real quick, I just want to take a look at these and show you what they look like. Okay, for the old woman, we can see I'm first getting a copy of the Calasis object. That's the player object. And then we can say if Calasis does not have an item called punch out, then she'll ask, do you have punch out? If we do have the punch out item, she'll say, oh thank you, take this, and we remove the punch out item and we add an item to Calasis' inventory called Game Boy. Okay, so now let's take a look at the other NPC's script, and we can see it's very similar. We get a copy of the Calasis object, and then if he does not have punch out, she says you can borrow my punch out. And then we add an item to Calasis' inventory called punch out. And then if he has punch out, she'll just say show the game, or show the woman my game. Okay, so we're going to exit out of this, exit out of edit mode, and let's run it. She says, do you have punch out? So now let's go talk to Rio. And she says you can borrow my punch out. If we were to talk to her again, show the woman my game. And then finally we give her the game and she says, oh thank you, take this. So that's it. That's our little quest, and this is my new editor. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is really cool. I'm really excited about this. This is going to help me get content into the game so much faster. That's all I have for now. See you guys soon.